Here's a game that I played quite recently as black. The opening was the Budapest Gambit, and my opponent was a guest player, so I had of course no idea how strong he was. So he played the move d4. I played knight f6, c4, e5, the Budapest, and there were a number of moves that white can play. The most common move, of course, is d takes e5, followed by knight g4, for example, and let's say bishop f4, knight c6, and so on. But in this game, I also made a video about the Budapest one time earlier, so if you've seen that video, you probably went over some of these lines. But in this game, my opponent played the move d5, so let's take a look at that. d5, and well, of course the most logical move here is to develop the bishop on f8 to c5, with ideas like, for example, if white would ever put the bishop on, so let's say g5, then a sacrifice on f2 is possible at some point, perhaps. After that, he played e3, maybe with the idea to stop that, which is actually part of opening theory as well, I believe. A castle, knight f3, d6, knight c3, and here I played a5. I played a5 for two reasons basically. One is that in some openings similar to the Budapest, I mean the setup is in itself, I can play moves like a3 and then follow that up by b4, and also a5, and of course also a6 is sort of, well, let's say if white would ever play knight to a4, then the bishop can always retreat to a7. a5 is not actually opening theory, so we went out of book pretty early in this game actually. So he played a3, bishop g4, just developing a piece. Maybe f5 would have been an idea. Maybe moves like I ran this game through Ripka 3 just minutes ago, and so a sample version would have been knight h4, bishop d7, knight f3, an equal game. But I played bishop g4, bishop e2, knight b to d7, castles, h6, bishop d2, queen e7, knight b5, attacking the pawn on c7. I played bishop b6. Of course I could have played c6 as well. I play bishop b6, b4, c6, knight c3, c takes d5, c takes d5, rook f to c8. I was also looking at a takes b4, a takes b4, rook takes a1, queen takes a1, and black is also better in this position. But I'll play rook f to c8, b5 was played, knight c5, a4, knight c to e4. And here's an important moment actually, which pieces to trade off. Now, my dark square bishop will always be more active than this light square bishop, which we will see after this trade. So he took on e4, I took back with the other knight, h3, and here I just played bishop takes f3, bishop takes f3, and now knight takes d2, queen takes d2, and well, he can't really do anything about my bishop on this diagonal. Well, his bishop is not really doing anything. So the only square which he also played, is to move bishop g4, just covering this diagonal. So I play rook c7, just preparing to double my rooks. Rook a c1, rook a c8, and now bishop g4. And I have just a bunch of trades, and of course I don't want to allow his queen to control the c-file, so another trade. Now e4, stopping, well, it's not actually stopping anything. Maybe I could have played g6 and then f5 or something. So king f8, just bringing my king out. f3, bishop d8, activating my bishop, since his bishop can't actually can't do anything, you know, because my pawns are on dark squares and he has a light square bishop. And this is of course opposite color bishop endgame in itself, and you might think that this is completely drawn, but well, it wasn't. And you will soon see why. King f2, bishop g5, just getting that bishop out. King e2, king e7, king d3, bishop f4. A very important move, actually, preparing to put the bishop on g3, g4, bishop g3. This is an important moment because now he can play h4 and he can bring his king back in time, really. So he played king e3 because now he sees that my king is can, start attacking his king side with moves like, this path or this path with which my king actually took in the game. King f6, king e2. So he gets back in time to protect the pawn here on f3, and also if my king ever would have, taken the other way to h4, his king is now on g2. So it looks like White is holding everything together, but it turns out that he's not actually doing that, because first of all, my bishop is much more active, and now my king is in the middle of, it's just attacking everything on the king's side. And while he's protecting the king's side, he can't protect the pawn, the square on f2, so my king can always, come out on e3. So he plays, I play king e3, bishop e8, attacking the pawn. I just played f6, bishop d7. And here's a very important move because, well, first of all, his bishop can't do anything, and his king can't do anything, so I have all the time in the world to make, moves, in between moves, basically. So I played the move g5, because let's say that if I had not played a move like g5 and started moving my king over here, he could have, for example, sacrificed the pawn here on f4, and then got his king, into the game in some way. So I stopped that with g5 because now his king is completely cut off, as well as, of course, his bishop. He can't do anything, and now all he can do is start moving his bishop back and forth, really. So now I attack his king side. I win a pawn on a4, and now a check. So we see that although my bishop can't actually attack any of his pawns, but my king can, and all his king can do is basically just watch while I'm picking up all his pawns. King a4, bishop c6. Again, he can't do anything but move his bishop back and forth. Bishop d7, and here we gave double question marks for White, but it doesn't really matter because White is totally lost anyway. I play bishop d2 with the idea to put my bishop on c1 to protect my pawn on a4, while my king, marches all the way down here and picks up all these pawns. And White is completely helpless, of course, because the bishop can't protect the pawns. So bishop c6, bishop c1, bishop d7, king c3, and after king b1, my opponent resigned. I play king d2, and here we resign. So let's take a quick look at the opening one more time. The opening was, like I said, the Budapest gambits: knight f6, c4, and e5. And like I said in the beginning of this video, I've made an earlier video about the Budapest gambit, so if you're interested in this particular opening, you might want to check that out. And he played d5, and my bishop came out to c5. And if we go to the end game here, the end game basically started on when these trades took place. We just traded everything off like this, and then eventually the queens, and when the bishops were on the board, we had an opposite color bishop endgame, and black was much better. Hope you enjoyed this, and see you soon.